speaking of Dope Smoker on the closing track.
I'm not crazy, right? I didn't imagine that.
No, I know Dope Smoker when I hear it.
Yeah, that's Dope. It's just Dope Smoker. The bookends.
Yeah,
yes, beginning and end.
Yeah, it's a little more gnarly, a little more electronic, but I think it's a little nod. It's all canon. It's all in the
family,
the Pike universe.
Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined as always by my patient co-host Alexander Volts. Say hello.
Oh, for you, anything. Hello.
This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. It's usually a new discography per episode, except for these EAE singles episodes where we just talk about something that brand new, something that just came out. Today we'll be covering the latest album from High on Fire, Cometh the Storm. Cometh the Storm, High on Fire. Hell yes. This was one of like the million albums that dropped on April
sometime
16th or something. Yeah, along with the most recent Mevlins album. Check out that episode. And the most recent Big Brave album. Check out that episode.
Mm-hmm.
We're being inundated with lots of metal this year.
Yes, sir. And I was very excited for this one as it features the first time recording with Coady Willis of Big Business, Mevlins, High on Fire, High on Fire, Murder City Devils, among many other things. But I've been a long time Coady Willis fan. So.
Oh shit! I didn't realize I remember you telling me that he was with him now, but I had forgotten. That's great. That's great. I love that guy.
He's amazing. I've talked about it on another episode. I saw Big Brave. I'm all mixed, dude. So many similar things. Big Business a few months ago, and like, god damn, like they're still amazing.
Yeah.
And like he's amazing, and Jared's amazing. It's just like, man, these guys should be huge if I had my way.
Oh man, I know. And well, I guess is it safe to say that if you're a fan of High on Fire, you're going to like this album?
Yes, I think it's one of their weaker efforts.
Really?
I still enjoy it a lot. When High on Fire came out, Matt Pike's vocal choices got a lot of comparison to Lemmy. Not that they sound the same, but they're very gravelly, and I think he's very much earning his Lemmy badges as being a madman in rock and roll and just a dinosaur, man. Like, I still like this album a lot, but I think there's like, for a guy who's like, just like I said, he's kind of a dinosaur, but he does have these like different lanes he's in. And I think an album like Snakes of the Divine, you probably go to for more like melodic, memorable, catchy riffs. But this is like punishing caveman stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, out of all their albums, I've only actually heard two other ones. Sticks for the Divine and Blessed Black Wings. But
those are my two favorite.
And Sticks for the Divine is the one that I've listened to like a million times. Like I love that album. So I'm rather not schooled when it comes to them, but I like this one. I wouldn't know where to put it with everything because I haven't heard those in a while. But I was delighted by this album. I was delighted by. Because you hear a band like this and it's sort of the Slayer effect of, just keep doing what you're doing, dude. If it ain't broke, it's fucking cool. But even within that, there's still a fair bit of variety here.
Yes. And it's so crazy. This is their 9th album. I feel old saying that, where like Snakes for the Divine was their 4th album.
Wait, it says it's their fifth. It's their fifth.
My bad. Yeah. My bad. 5th. Sorry. That's how deep we are in the High on Fire lore. But I read this was inspired by Turkish music, Middle Eastern music, and it's in effect here for sure.
quite a bit too. And it's, that's what I'm saying. I know you like it, but I figured those moments would really resonate with you. I mean, they're Middle Eastern as fuck.
Yeah, I think I just wanted some of those like catchy, like hooky High on Fire songs. They're not really here, but that's kind of my fault because this still works as this like it's the perfect album cover for it. It's just a ship floating in the sky. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting the way they combined it because it's not like the I don't know. I don't think it's like the go-to like, oh, we're gonna plug in like Middle Eastern music like a lot of rock bands do.
No, there's one moment where it kind of it's on the opener where it just comes in out of nowhere. But other moments it's a little bit more ingrained.
That opener you're talking about is Lamb's Bread, and I will say for being on their 9th album, going back to that dinosaur mentality, it is nice. They've never softened with age.
Oh, not at all.
Where a lot of their peers, Mastodon, Baroness, which is great. I love what they do, and they've explored other things. But Matt Pike he has a fucking Daniel Day-Lewis tattoo, specifically Gangs of New York. Like I
didn't realize that. That's pretty cool.
It's so fun. I think it says something about eating pizza too. Like he's just a madman, and like I said, I think here on Lamb's Bread, he really like earns his like he is carrying that Lemmy torch here.
Yeah, you're saying about talking about his Lemmy vocals. I actually really like how the vocals are mixed on the whole album, but I really did like it on the opener because they're buried just enough where that's a gripe that I have with metal bands when they mix vocals loud, because it's a guy screaming, growling, shrieking something. We know what it sounds like. We're not going to not understand what he's doing. You make his vocals the loudest fucking instrument in the thing, we're still not going to understand what they're saying. It doesn't matter. Make it I like it when it's a texture, when it's just like another guitar. And here they're buried, but in a way that makes that feels better. It also, there's an effect of screaming in heavy music where if it's a little bit buried, it, at least in my mind, it creates the effect of actually screaming more, because when you're screaming, there's something that makes it feel more like a scream if they're trying to make you hear them. So they're actually screaming over the music almost. So when vocals are mixed really loud and they're doing that stuff, I feel like it's just a little bit overbearing. But if it's a little bit buried, it feels like he's trying to scream through the music to get to me.
Yeah, and I love that. You would think more guys in metal would sing like Matt Pike, this like gravelly, like I don't know. It just seems like if someone who doesn't listen to metal, they would think like, oh, everyone sings like this, but it's kind of something only he does, and it's smart because he's a party animal, so he could do all the smoking and drinking he wants. The more rough his vocal cords get, the better.
You mentioned earlier about this, there not being a whole lot of hooky riffs here. For the most part, it's very bitter, very brutal, but there are a couple moments where it gets real hooky.
Yeah.
The two, I'm thinking of literally two, but I'm thinking of the title track and Hunting Shadows.
Oh, dude. I guess I'll go in order. Like, the title track is cool too, because that's as close as we'll get to like clean singing, and I'm doing finger quotes there. It's this really like cool, like hypnotic riff, and that's a great example of what I was saying about earlier, where it's like you think you've heard like one High on Fire song, but like I think for guitar nerds or people who this like unique riffs, like he really is like, I can't think of a lot of metal bands that would be like, let's turn this thing into a riff and build a whole song around it.
the more I hear of this band, the more I feel like they're the real riff masters, because like I remember seeing it might have been like a Rogan interview with James Hetfield from 10,000 years ago, where James was saying, always being in pursuit of like the best riff, and always kind of looking to Sabbath because they were like always being in pursuit of this great riff. Yet you look at Metallica's last 2.5 albums, and it's like, fuck, that's some pretty bland riffage, dude. Yeah. Where here it's like, I never want to it's still very mean and evil sounding. It's still using like the same like handful of notes, but it's like, I didn't think to put them in that order. Like there's just something always fresh about these dudes.
Yeah, he's always had a unique way of doing that. We covered Sleep, and like, yeah, I don't know. He's always been one of my heroes in metal music. I love no matter how hefty he gets, his no shirt would ever. Like, he's just like, I don't know. He's kind of like born in the wrong decade. Like this sounds stupid, and I said it about Wino. He's like Wino too, where like they deserve to be rock stars.
Oh yeah, like, they really remind me of each other.
Yeah, I think. Well, Matt Pike seems a little more cool.
Oh, you mean less violent? You mean
still chaotic, but I'd rather hang out with Matt Pike.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So yeah, this like I don't know. Like, he plays guitar. That's what he was born to do. And then Hunting Shadow, right? Yeah, I love how like repetitive it is, and it's like this epic song. And I think usually repetitive riffs I associate with his bandmate Al and Ohm. But he's out here on Hunting Shadows doing it a different way, being like, I could do a repetitive riff too, but like fast and in the High on Fire formula.
Plus, it's like the most triumphant and themic, handful of riffs on the album. Really big. They're big and powerful, and his yells are really impassioned. And there's more melody there. Just along with the title track, he's singing, but he's doing it in his very gruff, growly way. And a lot of moments, but especially in the title track, he really reminds me of Eugene from Oxbow. Just how he's singing.
They're both old school. I think Eugene is a little older.
Yeah, he goes back to the hardcore punk days.
Yeah, the different animals, but like cut of the same cloth.
One thing I don't, even though I like the song "Burning Down," I don't know if I love it as a track too. It does feel a little big and long and a little simple compared to some of the other things on here.
I agree. I was surprised to find out it was a single off here, and to me, I think like no one's really gonna notice, but Drum Nerds, I think that's one of the tracks where like Cody's doing a lot of work. He's doing Cody things. He's like gradually like putting his thumbprint on the band without like overstepping. So
yeah, I noted the tom work on that one too.
Yeah, doing a lot of stuff there that reminds me of his other bands. I love Trismegistus. Yeah. It's a little more menacing and punishing than the first two tracks, and I like on this album the guitar solos always do a good enough job of feeling like a slightly different enough song than where we started out.
Oh yeah, that one, because yeah, I mean it's a really brutal song compared to the openers or the first two bone crunching riffs, but that solo section, oh god, I really do love it, the rhythm section on the solo section. Good ass song.
Yeah, I think also, being the man who wrote Dopes or co-wrote Dope Smoker, I think his solos also are like very, very overlooked. Like he's just as good at those. And
yeah, he's a shredder.
Jumping around a little bit. Speaking of Dope Smoker, on the closing track,
I'm not crazy, right? I didn't imagine that.
No, I know Dope Smoker when I hear it.
Yeah, that's dope. It's just Dope Smoker.
Yeah, like the
bookends. Yeah,
yes,
beginning and end.
Yeah, it's a little more gnarly, a little more electronic, but I think it's a little nod. It's all canon. It's all in the
family,
the Pike universe.
Darker Fleece. Yeah, the closer. So that's the longest song. It's 10 minutes here, and the the beginning and ends is the opening Dope Smoker riff. It's like it's exactly the riff. I was like, that's a little similar, isn't it? It's exactly. But when the actual meat of the song is it's its own thing. It's a very different song.
Yeah, it's like these evil forces marching into battle, and there's also like a lot of elements that remind me of Big Business there. I think that's the one song where I'm like, oh, this does kind of feel like a super group, and even though it's this High on Fire.
Interesting. I mean, we throw in someone like Coady in a band like this, it does feel like a super group a little bit, but yeah, it's another anthemic riff. It's a very hooky riff, but I think the hookiness of it gets lost in how brutal the song is, especially when it's bookended by, insane sludge, the sludgiest of sludge.
The most like Turkish song on here is Karanlık Yol.
Karanlık Yol.
Yeah, that stuff is once again usually reserved for Ohm, but I like the break here, especially on an album that's so gnarly and punishing. Having this like, I don't know if it's actually Turkish folk music. I'm just gonna call it that. I apologize to anyone, but it goes hard. It's full Eastern instruments, probably Turkish instruments. Very, very full, but still. Most bands with this do that as an interlude, but it's like a full song here.
It's a full instrumental song, and it's super majestic. It's very big sounding. It's not like, there's not really any dips in like into quiet territory here. Mm-hmm. So even though that one's using what sounds like acoustic instruments, it's still giant and loud. Mm-hmm. And it's also super great for pacing. Like I wasn't at all expecting a song like that to come in as track 5, and it's a perfect little pacer. It's a perfect pacer.
Yeah. After that, you get Soul's Golden Curse, which is a more sludge driven song, but I think that's also another example of taking these like ugly metal riffs and throwing like that Matt Pike flair on it, where it's like maybe another band would just do it as this cool little flair, but he's gonna center a whole song around it.
Yeah, it's a lot more on the stoner metal side. It's very crunchy and headbangy, and it has like a nice little explosion at the end on the way it builds up. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that like you want something a little bit more simple and caveman like after hearing this giant Eastern thing.
Yeah, I like how, this is a very epic album, but then for 2 songs, they have like New York hardcore titles. The Beating is exactly that. Probably the shortest song on the album. It's like a throwback to 80s thrash at times.
Yeah, it's a little bit in the Motorhead vein, but it's still very thrashy. It's the fastest thing here by a lot. A lot of attitude, really gnarly riffs, still really like brutal, ugly, bitter stuff. But even then, it's still like somehow fun and lighthearted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this kind of has that element about him too, where like, I forget what album it's on. They have a song Frosthammer.
Oh yeah, that's Snakes for the Divine.
Yeah, and someone was like having a kid, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna name him something." He's like, "That's stupid. You should name him something cool, like Frosthammer."
That's a great name. You should name your firstborn daughter Frosthammer.
He should. And then here we get another like in that spirit. I love Lightning Beard. What an amazing like visual.
It's a good. I didn't even think about it. Like that's a fucking hilarious visual. That's a Souls boss right there.
Yeah, it's just like he has these like lighter like more majestic, like whimsy side of him, but he's able to package it in this like badass package.
Yeah. So the Tough Guy, well, the beating leads seamlessly into Tough Guy. It's
as it
like
should.
There's no separating the two. So where the beating is more Motorhead and thrashy and fast, Tough Guy is just straight up sludge metal.
Yeah, it is a, they could follow a song, and they should have just called it 1-2 punch, because it works as that.
Yeah, it does. And as it's they're both pretty straightforward in what they're doing, but the outro riff for Tough Guy is super cool. It's a very lengthy outro, and there's tons of soloing all over it. It's really just him showing off for that song. But it's not bad at all. I dig it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think a lesser band, the run times on some of these songs would be a problem, but he's just a master at it.
Yeah, I mean, Darker Fleece is the perfect example because it's 10 minutes. It feels the exact same, not at all.
Yeah.
Like both times I heard it, I was like, really? That's it? It's over?
I mean,
he's pretty fucking wild.
He set your ears up to get comfortable. That's why he did it.
Yeah.
If they hear Dope Smoker, they're going to
it's going to be an hour.
Yeah. And 10 minutes, that's nothing.
Yeah. What was it? Yeah. Out of all the songs, my least favorite is Lightning Beard though. Cause there's nothing wrong with it on its own, but at that point in the album, it just doesn't do enough different.
I feel like it's kind of redundant to say this for a band like High on Fire, because they've evolved about as much as an Alligator has, but there's something about Lightning Beard where it feels more like classic High on Fire, if you want to use that term. And then again, when the guitar solo starts, I love that the bass decides to go proggy with it. So Lightning Beard did enough for me to keep it fun and different, and that proggy bass choice, this helped elevate the song for me.
That bass and then solo section that you're talking about is like the one thing that made me like, all right, it's still a good song because it's my least favorite, but that solo section, like that bass is doing all kinds of wacky shit. Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah. It makes me kind of wish the bass had more showcases, but I guess that's par for the course for a lot of metal bands.
Yeah. That's a thing with I guess bass solos in metal where it's like, for a lot of bands, you can't even hear the bass anyway. It's so guitar dominant. And then the time they try to do something different, like I think of the Philosopher from Death. Check out an episode on Death, where Steve DiGiorgio is doing this full-on bass solo with his fretless bass, and you can fucking barely hear it. It's just you hear these little fart sounds underneath, where it's like, oh, it's a cool idea, but it doesn't really work. It doesn't feel that good. But here, he's not. Bass isn't soloing. Matt's soloing. So the bass doing this thing that's not exactly a solo, but it's not just hanging on the root notes of anything. I don't know. It kind of gives there's like enough room for you to hear it better. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's getting lost or anything.
Yeah. Great album. Maybe on the weaker side for me, all things considered, but High on Fire is better than a lot of other bands still, even as how old is Mr. Pike as he's creeping up in age, 52 years young.
Wow.
Doesn't look a day over 50.
51. Yeah.
51.
Yours is better. Oh man. Yeah. I'm glad that they're still good. I mean, it's just the way it goes. You eventually see a drop off, and then that's just how it is. But they're still going, and I still quite enjoy this. Like I enjoy this one a lot. It's just so fun to just fucking crank.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been that. It's just a band you can reliably play at high volume and never be disappointed.
Love it. I fucking love it, and I love the dude. So likable, so fun.
Yeah. I noticed it seems like metal festivals are trying to make their way back. Like Mayhem Festival or Summer Slaughter tour. And I get trying to elevate some younger bands, but it also like bums me out when I see these lineups and I'm like, I think throwing a High on Fire in, I think some of these younger kids would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, what's not to love? I mean, it's not even like they're not even as what's the word? They're not even as simple to categorize as like the old school stuff. Like you can't just say, oh, they're thrash. You can't just say, oh, they're death metal, or they're stoner metal. They've always been like a hybrid of all this stuff. So I have like a lot of trouble describing what the hell kind of metal they are, because I just know it's really cool, but it has elements of a lot. So there's, especially with newer bands and all these newer generations of every band blending a million genres, it's not completely alien to that. It's not like archaic or these relics.
Yeah. I always like, I'm glad like Mastodon and like Lamb of God kind of ended up getting their due, and I always felt like High on Fire would end up like that, but such is the choice when you're the burden to bear of being the stoner riff master.
Yeah. Sometimes the world ain't fair, man.
No, I mean, it's so crazy. Like, I looked up what label they're on because I never heard of it. I guess it's Hasbro. Like, Hasbro runs movie studios and record labels now.
What the fuck?
Because I saw the label. I was like, I've never heard of this label before.
MNRK Music Group.
Yeah, owned by Hasbro. So, they're on. I did forget to mention, produced by Kurt Ballou of Converge.
Oh, yeah.
Probably also produced a lot of other cool things. Albums we've talked about for sure on this album that I can't even think of.
Actually, so it was owned by Hasbro. Now it's owned by Blackstone.
Oh, shit. What are they?
Dude, they own the world.
There you go.
Now, holy shit, dude. They bought Hasbro. No, they didn't buy Hasbro. Hasbro sold E1 Music to Blackstone.
Okay.
And MNRK was formerly known as E1.
Okay. So that is true. When you have a name like Blackstone, this means you own like 1/4 of the world. Yep.
That's freaky. Weird that even High on Fire is owned by Blackstone.
there you go. That reminds me when was it Toyota who did the Scion cars?
Oh yeah, they put out the Bulls and the Bees from the Mevlins.
Dude, Scion was
fucking weird.
Dude, Scion was putting so many cool like. I think I saw High on Fire play like Scion thing for free. So like,
dude, what a crazy little moment that's a glitch in the Matrix where a fucking car company is putting out Melvin's records. What did they think was going to happen? Did they think it was going to be like a flood of the youth buying Scions now? When that's not exactly who's listening to the Melvins.
It's the least metal car ever, first of all.
Oh yeah.
And then second of all, I don't think they did their market research. People who listen to Melvins and High on Fire don't exactly have disposable income.
No, they don't have their own cars.
You know what? Maybe they were smart. They were like, second market, though. A second market Scion. You guys can afford that.
That's true.
When you're looking at these cars, you'll be like, remember the good times I had?
Remember the good times. That is true. I mean, it is way smarter to buy used. I mean, why would you not?
Yeah. So, yeah. I think when I bought my most recent car, I was considering a Scion, so it worked a little bit. It almost worked.
I mean, you didn't buy the Scion, so it didn't really work.
It did. I don't know how close I was to the Scion, but I considered it. So
I think if it's like between the Scion and a different car, it has to be like they are equal in every possible way. And the only edge it is well, Scion put out that Melvin's record. Might as well go with the Scion. Like that's the only situation I see it winning.
I went with a Ford Fusion because it's a hybrid. My dad worked at Ford for most his life, so I'm just like.
Keep it in the family.
Saves like he doesn't get anything. I don't get anything out of it. It's just a familiar more familiar than the Scion.
That's how I am about Japanese cars. No matter what I get, it's got to be Japanese because of the familiarity with it, and I trust them. They're trustworthy vehicles,
reliable.
Oh yeah, you want them to go forever and ever.
I haven't taken my car into the shop since owning it. So
hold on, you should though. But you should.
Well, so I've taken it in for like oil changes and stuff like that. But I mean, like, it hasn't broken down on me, hasn't. Nothing like that.
That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
What do you have to say about that, Scion? Huh? All right.
I can't say that a Scion wouldn't though.
That's true. That's true.
And because of that, they got a free ad read on a podcast where hundreds of people are forced to listen about Scions now.
Yeah, go buy a Scion, everybody. But first go to the Patreon and then buy your Scion.
Anyone from Toyota wants to throw some, some goodies my way, I'll gladly accept.
Toyota goodie.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, the album rules. It's metal. If you like metal, fucking listen to it. I mean, I don't know what else you want.
The purest form of metal.
Yeah. Oh, it's sick. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching. Go check out the album now if you want. You could also hang out here and support us and be cool and give a thumbs up, or you can leave a comment and tell us why we're stupid. Whatever you want. The world is your oyster. You can follow me on all social media at PanderMonkey and Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
And be sure to follow our history guy, Tom Osman, at Tom Osman Sounds on all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for his music and his podcast, whatever comes next. You can find links to all that in the description. He interviews musicians on there. It's very cool, very, very different style to us, even though being in the same family as us. Of course, you cannot forget, please, for the love of God, do not forget Patreon, patreon.com/everyalbumever. That's where you go. We got bonus episodes there. We got 2 extra bonus episodes a month. You can see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You get to join our Discord and be a part of our community. It's also where we pick out some suggestions for these EA singles episodes of new albums. So tell us what to listen to and we'll do episodes on it. And if you're tier 2 on Patreon, then you can suggest a full discography for longer numbered episodes. It's good stuff. You could also, in addition to full episodes, you can suggest any album from any discography. We'll do bonus episodes on it for Patreon. It's a bunch of stuff there. It's very cool. It's very busy. Good stuff. Yeah, I guess we're wrapping it up. What should we wrap it up with?
I think we just got to do Darker Fleece, right? We're splicing this in afterwards. We got the time.
10 minutes, baby. Enjoy it. It's a good ass song.
It is a good ass song.
Hell yeah. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.